بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome everyone to Isra University e-learning. We are for the class of business ethics. This is chapter 4, where we stopped last time. It was chapter 3. We start with chapter 4, which is titled as ethics and financial reporting. هي التقرير المالي والأخلاقيات. First, we start talking about HSBC, which is a bank located in Geneva, the headquarters. In 2007, one of the employees called Henry Felciani, stole the data files from HSBC in Geneva. He stole data for 100,000 people. And sold or gave that to the French. The French used that information. The clients, 100,000 of clients اللي هم 100,000 من العملاء في داخل البنك اللي سرقت معلوماتهم، هم في 400 منهم are links to the US من أمريكا، وحساباتهم كانت أكثر من 13 مليار دولار. معظم هؤلاء الزبائن استعملوا البنك للتهرب الضريبي وغسيل الأموال، ومنهم استعملها حتى في تجارة الأسلحة الغير شرعية الليجل القانونية أو الشرعية، والماس الملطخ بالدماء، تجارة الماس. So this person, when he took the money, he tried to sell it to someone to the highest bid. That's his main motive. الدافع الأساسي عنده كان بدي يبيع اللي بيدفع أكثر. وعندما لم يستطع أعطى المعلومات للفرنسيين. The French on their own، الفرنسيين بدورهم استغلوا المعلومات هذه ورجعوا لهم فلوس من 300 ل 400 مليون دولار إلى من زبائنهم الفرنسيين ورجعوهم لحساب الحكومة. طبعا اليونايتد ستيت عملت الحكومة طبعا sued the bank and the bank ended up paying اللي هو HSBC في 2012 دفع تسوية 1.9 billion dollars، مليار و900 مليون دولار دفعها كتسوية قضائية مع الحكومة الأمريكية. After that, البنك دعا أنه طبعا the bank has now implemented reforms, so this type of client cannot be accepted. إنه البنك قد طبق وأصدر أنظمة وقوانين لتمنع مثل هذا الزبون من والقبول داخل البنك. Ethics and financial reporting. Why is financial reporting important? Financial reporting اللي هي التقرير المالي important for a few things. Financial statements show how well the company has performed in the past and give an indication of the future course of action. يعني ال financial statement will give you كيف عملت الشركة، كيف كانت تتطور في الماضي، كيف كان أداؤها. الأداء كان في الماضي كان جيدا، وتعطيك تقرير أو توقعات للمستقبل. How is going to be, how the indication of the future course of action. How is the company is going to do well or bad in the next near future. Value is only as good as the numbers in the statement. Of course, القيمة is as good as the numbers in the statement. اللي هو statement اللي هي اللي قلنا التقرير أو القائمة المالية to show you numbers. الأرقام هي اللي بتحدد هي الvalue أو قيمة البزنس. If false of erroneous, then value is voided. طبعا الأرقام هذه أو غير حقيقية أو متلاعب بها it's not gonna give you the مش هتعطيك the real value. It's not gonna give you the real value of the business or the company. So تعتبر لاغية إذا كانت غير دقيقة. Maybe deliberate or accidental. التلاعب قد يكون أو الخطأ قد يكون متعمد أو حادث عرضي أو غير متعمد. The role of creative accounting, it's called the deviation from the traditional methods used to interpret an accounting rule or standard. A fine line. Is there a fine line between an accounting rule or standard? Example include managers and auditors from such firms as Enron, Adelphia, Global Crossing, Right Air, Sunbeam, TYCO, WorldCom, and Arthur Andersen. لما حكينا في Arthur Andersen and Enron، عارفين we have talked about the scandal of Enron. How did they manipulate the numbers by the accountant also? and showed a big profit, over 100 billion profits the year before they collapsed, and it was all just bogus numbers. It was made up to raise their stock prices. There's also the Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi scheme, it was talked about, somebody did the scheme back in 1882, about, I would say, 1920. Ponzi, he was a person, Charles Ponzi, seemed to is promised investor that they would receive an increase in their investment by 50% in just 45 days. And this is too good to be true. It cannot be true. كيف تعطيني investment 50% زيادة في الانفستمنت تبعتك في خلال 45 يوم. Who did this? مهاجر الولايات المتحدة من اللي هو his name is Charles Ponzi. He arrived in Boston, eventually moved to Montreal. Then he was jailed. went انحبس هناك 3 سنين تزوير شيكات. Then he moved back to Boston. رجع على بوسطن في أمريكا. And developed his scheme. عمل الخطة تبعته اللي هي نصب to make money. At that time, different countries issued prepaid coupons that were used to send mail back to the country. عشان الواحد يرجع البريد على الدولة اللي فيها كان issue coupons, issue stamp. The scheme involved Ponzi buying the coupons at a fixed rate and then selling them for a profit because of the fluctuation exchange rates between countries. طبعا هو تظاهر انه ببيع هذه الكوبونات to make the money, انه بيعمل فلوس، بس هذه كانت كلها بس واجهه، انه الفلوس كان بياخذ من الناس بيصير في مربح وبدفع على الشخص الثاني من الفلوس، كما عمل عندنا ما يسمى الروبي في غزه. He used the purchasing and selling coupon to explain to the customer how he was making the money. طبعا هذا اخذها زي ما كنا واجهه عشان يوضح للناس كيف انا بعمل وين بعمل فلوس. In reality, he was taking money from one investor and then paying off another investor. لكن في الحقيقة كان يأخذ فلوس من واحد ويدفع أرباح للثاني. That's how he collected his money. في أبريل 1920 كان عنده الناس دفعوا له حتى الآن received more than $140,000. لكن by July 1920 في شهر 7 1920 في خلال 3 months Ponzi took in حوالي $10 مليون، $10 million, but he owed his customer 15 million. طبعا على حسب الحسابات والمرابح اللي كانوا يوعدها للناس he owed المفروض عليه ديون 15 مليون، بس he had the $10 million with him in cash. Of course he was arrested in August 1920. انحبس في 1900 تم القبض عليه في 1920. Was convicted of a number of federal and state offenses. طبعا أدين بكل هذه الاتهامات. Then he was deported back to Italy in 1934. تم ترحيله إلى إيطاليا في 1934. Ponzi died a poor man living in a charity ward in Brazil. 1949 he was 66 years old. يعني بعد ما تم ترحيله إلى إيطاليا في 1934 مات بعدها ب15 سنة في البرازيل في إحدى الجمعيات الخيرية بقى يأكل منهم، بقى مات فقيرا. The fundamental flaw of a Ponzi scheme that it never ends until the person committing the fraud is caught or disappears. الأساسية المفهوم الأساسي أو اللي بيجعل هذا السكيم مسمى من خلفه البونزي سكيم إنه بدفع من واحد لواحد it never stops، لن يتوقف إلا إذا قبض على هذا الشخص أو اختفى، أخذ الفلوس واختفى. then you find out بعد هيك بيعرفوا الناس إنه في نصب، فطالما هو موجود وشغال nobody will ever know، محدش هيعرف. The insider trading. The insider trading we're talking about trading stocks اللي هو trader inside the companies اللي بيبيع الstock companies. The use of non-public information by an employee to make decision based on self-interest instead of the best interest of the firm. يعني somebody work for a stock firm, take the information في معلومات هناك حساسة بالنسبة ل one of the companies, he sells it to other people or he gives it to somebody عشان to trade, affect the trade. Like somebody would go sell he knows this company is going down, the stock prices, this stock in particular will go, the shares will go down. He goes and sell his stocks before the stuff comes up in public, before this information comes out. This is cause a conflict of interest. تضارب للمصالح. استعمل المعلومات for his own interest. This is illegal. طبعا unlawful. قانونيا it's unlawful. There are three categories for this: traditional theory, temporary insiders, and tippers and tippees. We could look these. I'm going to explain this in the book itself. Tippers and tippees. We talk about Ponzi. Okay, the traditional theory focuses on the acquisition of insider information based on the imposition of the individual. Traditional insiders include the officers, directors, employees, and stockholders. And somebody that works inside the company, somebody who is part of the company, is the one leaking the information or using that information بيستعمل معلومات for his own interest. Temporary insiders are those individuals who do not have a permanent position within the firm, اللي ما عندهمش اللي هم موقع أو منصب في هذه الشركة دائم، لكن ممكن يكون temporary employer، ممكن يكون محاسب، المحامي تبعهم والاستشاري. Based on their temporary position within the firm, they are able to obtain inside information. ممكن هذا يأخذ المعلومات also and use it or give it to somebody else. Tippers and tippees. A tipper is someone who obtains insider information and has disclosed that information to another person. يعني شخص حصل عليه المعلومات and tipped the other person. Tip معناه هو he gave it to him. أعطى المعلومات الأخرى. ولكن إذا ما قلنا tippers والتبي اللي معطي المعلومة ولما يستقبل هذه المعلومة يعتبر غير مخالفين للقانون وكود جو ومخالفين لأخلاقيات مهنة ومخالفين للقوانين وممكن ينحبسوا وراه. The role of financial reporting. Primary objective of financial reporting is provide interested parties with the ability to. يعني financial reporting should give us information. يعطي كل من يهم الأمر هذه المعلومات. واحد. One, make investment, credit, and financial decisions that relate to the firm. ممكن أنت تستثمر buy الأسهم اعتمادا على هذه المعلومات financial reporting. You go and buy this stocks or give them credit. تعطيهم دين لأنه it shows good numbers. Financial decisions that relate to the firm. أي حاجة قرارات مالية لها علاقة بهذا الفيرم أو هذه الشركة. 2. Help the reader determine the level of cash flows for the firm. Also will help whoever reading the statement to يعرف مدى what you call it. Help the reader to determine the level of cash flows for the firm. ليعرف مدى اللي هو السيولة النقدية اللي تذهب إلى هذه الشركة. Identify the economic resources and obligations to the firm. ليتعرف على هي الواجبات أو المدينات لهذه الشركة. The next one we're talking about, where were the auditors? يعني were all these scandals كل هذه الفضائح أين المدققين؟ وأين كان المدققون؟ هذا القصد من auditors. The annual audit inspection of accounting records and other information expresses an opinion on the fairness and adequacy of the financial statement. والتدقيق السنوي الخارجي الجرد الانسبكشن الفحص التدقيق السنوي of accounting records كل اللي هي الوثائق أو التوثيق والأرشيف المحاسبي والمعلومات الأخرى. It should give you an opinion on the fairness and adequacy of the financial statement. تعطيك رأي حول صحة ودقة هذه الفاينانشال ستيتمنت التقارير القائمة المالية. Auditors are considered the gatekeepers for the stakeholders. طبعا المدققين يعتبروا هم من الgatekeepers محارس البوابة أو هم المحافظين أو حامين الحمى بالنسبة للستيك هولدر من اللي هم حاملين اللي هم owners أو أصحاب الأسهم. Power relationship between company and auditor may be unbalanced and reduce effectiveness of auditing process resulting in conflict of interest. طبعا في علاقة القوة والعلاقة بين الشركة والمدققين ممكن تكون غير متعادلة وغير متكافئة، وهذا ما يقلل من تأثير أو من قوة تأثير المدقق أو إجراءات التدقيق وما يسبب له تعارض في المصالح conflict of interest. Potential conflict of interest. Conflict of interest that can take place during the auditing process. Auditor firm, stakeholder management, self-interest professional standard. Potential outcomes: lack of objectivity or accuracy, shareholders revolt and legal proceedings. طبعا النتائج المترتبة عن هذه الكونفليكت انترست could be lack of objectivity اللي هو نقص أو قلة الموضوعية ولا عدم وجود الموضوعية أو بهذا أو الدقة أيضا. shareholder revolt اللي هو تفاضل اللي هم الأسهم وابتعادهم عنها. and legal proceeding والإجراءات القانونية تتبع هذا الموضوع. the use of heuristics in auditing. heuristic معناها الاستدلال used by auditors which would bias the evaluations of the financial statements. It comes to three categories. Self-perception. This happens when an individual is selective pertaining to the information given him or her when a decision needs to be made. Auditors are hoping for clean audits so their clients will be happy. That's التأثير in perception المفهوم selective يختار متى يعتبر هذه مخالفة أو لا لأنه هو he's hoping أو يتمنى إرضاء اللي هم الزبائن عندما يروا تدقيق نظيف وفش فيه شوائب that will make people happy. Plausible deniability رفض المعقول زي ما يكون occurs when an individual is hesitant to reject a biased proposal from someone else. عندما الشخص متردد أو يتلكك في رفض أي حاجة غير موضوعية أو منحازة عرض غير منحاز من شخص ما. Escalation of commitment also is based on the belief that an additional commitment is needed for a course of action even if this is not the correct course of action. This is when you think you need commitment or توثيق أو انطلاب آخر. commitment additional commitment عندما تحتاج commitment إلى course of action which is not even the right correction. ممكن يكون خطأ ولكن أنت بتدعمه أو بتفكر فيه more time أو بتحاول reconsider which is the wrong thing to do. When we talk about the responsibilities of the auditors, they have external responsibility to verify accuracy of financial statements. Audit committees internal oversee auditing and control procedures. Both the auditors, whether external or internal, they aim to avoid what? Avoid selective perception, the plausible deniability, and the escalation of commitment that we talked before. The AICPA Code of Professional Conduct, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, established code in 1980. أطلعوا اللي هو code أو ميثاق شرف لهم, which is based on 6 principles. Responsibilities, the public interest, مسؤوليات, public interest اللي هي الاهتمام العام أو المبلغ العامة, integrity, النزاهة, objectivity and independence اللي هي قلنا ايش الموضوعية والاستقلالية, do care اللي هي عناية المعتمدة أو المتوقعة, and scope and nature of the services اللي هي طبيعة الخدمات المقدمة أو okay. They have laws that was established in America which is called SOX, Sarbanes-Oxley Act. We don't think it's interested, but passed by the U.S. Congress in 2002 in direct response to corporate scandals of Enron after Enron and World Cup. Geared toward public companies. Why this was established? That's what we need to know. Established to help increase transparency, integrity, and accountability of public companies. وهذا was established أنشئ هذا القانون ليساعد في زيادة الشفافية والنزاهة والمسؤولية بين الشركات العامة. طبعا yes. A comprehensive model of top management fraud. من النموذجات اللي هم التوب مانجمنت فرود الاحتيالات من الإدارة العليا. Key influences of fraud من العوامل المؤثرة في this kind of fraud النصب. societal level issues, industry-based issues, firm level issues, and individual level issues. طبعا we have the framework for examining management fraud. عشان نفحص اللي هو management fraud, we have a framework that was done by we could see it here. It talks about antecedents, which is اللي هي السوابق, individual level moderator, then managerial fraud, and effects, what effects it had after that fraud. We'll talk about it now. Societal level issue are first based on the role of cultural deviance, or how the activity is measured based on the accepted norms of society. The second societal level issue relates to what the aspirations of the decision makers are, based on their need for material goods and success. The industry-based issues relate to the industry in which the company competes. Factors that can play a role include the cultures, norms, and histories of the industry. Accounting shenanigans or tricks of the trade. Shenanigans means secret or dishonest activity or maneuvering. يعني هي الخداع والأعمال السرية أو tricks الخداع. That's what shenanigans are. Revenue recognition, one-time charges, raiding the reserve, cookie jar accounting. These are some tricks they use for accounting to cover things. One of them, raiding the reserve, cookie jar accounting, is when a company understands profit is understates profits in one period so that it can overstate profits in a subsequent period. Or another definition for cookie jar, an accounting practice in which a company takes a quantity of large reserves from an economically successful year and incurs them against losses from less successful years. يعني عندما المحاسب يأخذ أرباح من السنة اللي فيها أرباح كثيرة ويأخذ بعضا منها ويحطها في السنة قبلها أو السنة اللي save it for another year أو السنة اللي بعديها عشان يغطي على مخسر مثلا أو السنة الخسرانة, فبيغلي كل سنة مربح. They play with numbers so they see إنه الكمباني بتربح كل سنة أو يزيد المربح كل سنة. That's what cookie jar accounting is. يعني بيلعبوا في النمبرز, سنة بيخفف الأرباح شوية, يكون ربح كتير جدا فبيخفف منه شوية عشان يضع هاي الأرباح في السنة اللي فيش فيها مربح كتير أو فيها مخسر, to cover up, to make balance between the years. Off balance sheet items or earning management. There's also the one-time charges, sometimes things that they include there that shows it only happened once, it never happened before, so they can cover other charges within the one-time charge. It shows that this only happens this year or whatever. That's how they play with number. They manipulate the accounting. Now we reach the end of this chapter. There's a question for thought that I want you to look into, like this, mainly, why is earning management considered a trick of the trade? Explain. We need to explain this. And should the US government have the right to demand information pertaining to US citizens who have bank accounts outside the US? They already are doing this. They already check حسابات الأمريكان, المواطنين الأمريكان في خارج اللي عندهم حسابات خارج الولايات المتحدة. They start doing this for the past at least years. Swiss banks have a long tradition of keeping the information about their clients confidential. Is this correct focus to take in the 21st century? يعني دائما البنوك السويسرية the Swiss بتخبي معلومات, عندها معلومات معروفين عنهم أنهم يخبؤون معلومات أو يحتفظوا بمعلومات سرية للعملاء تبعينهم. هذا صح في هذا في العصر أو القرن ال21. شوف what are your thoughts on why do Ponzi schemes continue to work? ليش السكيم like البونزي والروبي still work time after time, كل سنة عن سنة ما زالوا شغالين؟ ليش؟ Can somebody tell me why is still working. Can somebody explain to us why is still working? Here we reach the end of this lecture. Thank you very much and have a nice day.